Hello class, today we'll be looking at HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So what is hypertext? Is, okay, let me open this, guys. So hypertext is like a document that link to another different document. For example, this website, Wikipedia, you can see this part that is blue. If I click on it, it will link me to a different document. That is the word called hypertext. Let me just click on it. You can see it took me further to another different document, and if I keep clicking on it, it will be referring me and taking me to a different document. So then the I said the full meaning of HTML is hypertext markup language. So what is the markup language? So markup language is a way of writing text so that computer can understand how to display it or structure it. So don't worry, that's just grammar, but in programming we get our hands dirty. So let me minimize my screen. I'll move to my Git patch. I love using the command line interface. So I'll click on my Git patch. Okay, I think I've opened it here. So let me just move it here. Okay, I'll zoom in so that can be more clear. So I said before, so basically to build a website, you need three files. You need your HTML file, you need your CSS, and you need your JS. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. The CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet, while the JS stands for JavaScript. So HTML is the structure of our website. If you're looking at your website like a building, if you're looking at your website like a building, HTML file is the structure of the website. It's just the structure, like the building block of a building. While the CSS is the style sheet, how you paint your building, how you paint your building. The CSS has to do with the painting of the building. Why the JavaScript has to do with the functionality of the building. You can cook in the building. The building has its restroom. It has lights. It has the kitchen. It has the store. You can on the lights. You can plug things. You can play music. That's the functionality. So we use the JavaScript. We use JavaScript for functionality of our website. So the structure is the HTML, but to beautify it, that's when we use our CSS to beautify it. Put glass, put all those things we want. Let's look at this image. Let's look at this image. Oh, wow, it's taking me further. Okay, look at it. Let me move. You can just imagine this as your HTML file. It is the building block of the website. You can see it is not yet completed, but once it's completed, you can see the beauty. Once it's completed, you'll paint it, and the painting has to do with the CSS. Why the functionality of this building? That you can open this door, you can on the light, the switch, you can go to the kitchen to make food and do all those functionality that the house has. That is the JavaScript. So in this video, I'll be talking about the HTML. So let me go to my terminal. This is my Git patch, the command line interface. So before I start my project, I will have to create a file or create a directory where all my files will be kept. So I will use this command. I want to move to my desktop. So I will cd change directory into my desktop. I don't want to type the full desktop. I can just use this white card and press enter. So I'm in my desktop. So inside this desktop, I want to make a directory. Okay, I want to make directory called building. Let me just call it building. The building underscore block. Then inside this building underscore block, I want to I want to create a file called index.html. Index.html. This command, this ampersand means and. So I'll just press enter. So I've already created that. So let me cd into move into the directory I created. Cd into building. I don't want to complete it. Let me just the spelling, then I'll press enter. Good. So it matches with it. Let me do the LX to see the content. Oh, that means this thing didn't enter it. Anyway, so let me clear my screen. Okay, I haven't cleared my screen. I want to open my VS Code. There's a command use code dot dash. Then I press enter. Automatically it will open my VS Code. It's meant to open my okay, yes, yeah. It will open my VS Code for me. What's going on? My VS Code is not. It's kind of slow. So this is the VS Code. You can see the way it is. As a developer, we will be making use of the VS Code where we write our code inside it. So I will create a file called index.html. So HTML .html is an extension. So the way the operating system work is that it has extension. So the extension you put determines how the computer will be able to interpret your script. If you put .text or if you put .pmg or PDF, all those extensions, it has a way that the computer will interpret it. So you can see that the moment when I press enter, running. Why is this thing running slow? The moment I press enter, we can see it has this tag in its. You can see this tag here that the computer has already given me. So now we've already. Let's go back to our webs. Let's go back to our browser. So this is a website. This is actually a website. So you can see that this website has an heading. It has a picture. It has list items. It has a navigation bar at the top. All these things are just HTML. So the styling now that this place has black, green, and blue, that's CSS. Why if you click on it, it can lead you to your Twitter. That's the JavaScript. That's just it. That's the JavaScript. So let's inspect this script, this website. To inspect it, I can just press. I can right click. Then I'll go to inspect. You can see down inspect. I'll click on it. So the moment when I click on it, you can see. So this is actually HTML files. This is HTML file. So we'll be talking about all these files and what they do. So now, as you can see that I'm clicking, you can see that on the left hand side we can see like the course of moving. Some parts are blue. So let me move further. Let me look at the image. Let me go to where I can forget the image. Okay, the image is within this place. Let me drag it. Let me so that it will be more obvious. This is just the CSS. So you can run all your command here on the browser. You have access to whatever is inside. Or you have access to whatever is inside. So you can see all this place I'm clicking. Let me see if I can let me move up a little bit. This is the I want to go to the body. Okay, let me go down. Let me go down. So all these things that are placed, all these things that you see displayed, these are the code that was written. This is actually the code that was written to generate all what we are seeing on the website. All what we are seeing on the website. This is the image tag, and this is the address. Let me. This is the address. Okay, I don't want to make any changes to what exists here. I just wanted to show you that the way I can just edit anyway. So that's just the website. That's just how a website basically looks like. So like I said, a website is made up of three parts: the HTML, which is the structure, your text that you see, the image, that's HTML. Why the CSS has to do with the beautification of your website, the way you style it, that's the CSS. Why the functionality that if you click on this button, it will perform a specific task or it will perform a specific task or ask you some kind of questions. That's just the JavaScript artwork. So now let's go and build our own HTML file. Let's minimize this. Let's go back to our VS Code that I opened here. Now, in this VS Code, all my works, I created a directory called build. This is my directory that I created, building block. Yes, so I created the file called index.html. So all my code for my HTML will be written inside this index.html. This extension is very important. If I write something else, it won't be like this. So apart from that, I will right click. I want to click on this place that show preview. So we'll be writing some code and we'll be seeing the output of what we've written, just like a website. So HTML we have different elements. We have different elements. Some are called the no void element, and some are called the void elements. We can also call some self closing tag and the other ones non self closing tag. So the first element I'll be talking about is the header. The headers. Let me type it. H1. And is the most important. In every website you must have an header, H1. It is not a self-closing tag. So you will write your content in between this place. Let me write header. Let me just put heading 1. On the right you can see the display. So this heading 1, this header we have up to header 6. From header 1, the header 1 is the main. Why header we have header 2? Let me put header 2. Header 2 is the sub main. So as we increases in number, the intensity or the brightness or the size of the of the letter of the content that we write reduces. Let me put header. Let me put heading 2. Heading 2. Can you see the difference? So the next one, let's put H3. And VS Code has this autocomplete. So the moment I press just H2 and press the enter key, it will auto complete it for me. You can see the next one. In order to just save time, okay, let's just go H4. H4. So heading 4. H5. Heading 5. H6. Heading 6. So now you can see this is a website. This an address, uniform result locator, URL. This is a URL. So this how is going to be displayed. So you can actually build your website without CSS and JavaScript. That kind of website will be called like a static website. Like if you look at your Wikipedia, let's click Wikipedia. I think I opened one. Good. Look at all these text. I can actually use HTML to build this without using CSS or JavaScript to just build something like this, similar to this. And in the course of this lecture, we'll be building something like this. So you can see that this one this is an H1. The main heading is H1. Let's see. So this is subheading, subheading H2. So you can see that you may just have just one H1 in a website, just one main heading in the website, and that's the attention markup language. That is the main topic. And under it, you can see other ones like this. You can see type all these ones are still headings, but they are not. This one may just be H2. H2 you can have multiple, but that H1 is usually one. You can see the other ones you can have the same heading. You can place them as H2, H3. They may be the same thing, but you are in code program. You have to move. It's a gradual process. So now see, this is the H1. So let's look at this. This is the element. This is the element. Why this is the content of the element? This is the content of the element. The content of the element. Heading 6, heading 5, heading 4. That's the H1. And you can see how the rating, how it drops. The size reduces as you go from one level to another. Now let's try heading 7. Remember I told you that H1 start from H1 to H. The heading start from heading 1 to heading 6. We don't have heading 7. H7. You see? I press enter. It didn't respond because there is nothing like that. There's nothing like there is nothing like H7. So just this is the heading. Look at the website we opened before. This is the main heading. H1. As they wrote it like this. Let me cancel this. This is the main heading. You can see. This is just it. H1. Just as simple as that. You can see this fine building. Mhm. You can see. You can see all these ones are heading, but you can see that they are different. They are different. Maybe this one is heading 2, while this one may be heading 3. Or is heading 1. You can see the difference. They are both heading. So we have different headings. We have H1 to H6, and that's it. So now we'll be going next to another important element, HTML element, which is paragraph. Paragraph. So let me clear my screen. Paragraph. So paragraph is P. We use P to P means paragraph. So when you press enter, you write anything inside this paragraph. You write the content inside this paragraph. So let me open a website. I'll be using lipsum. Let me use lipsum to generate random letters for me. Yeah, good. So let me copy this. Can this thing allow me to copy? Yes, now. Should. No, I'm not copying everything. I just want just small. Okay. Let's just copy this. Copy. Let me go back to my Visual Studio Code. Let me remove the paragraph. Let me just paste them here. Wow. What is this? Good. So we started with our heading. We said H1. Then we'll put the enter key. What do we call the heading? Let's call it lip. Let's just call it introduction to HTML. So that's the heading. We are using H1. So for the paragraph, we've written many things. Okay, I can put P here. Let me just write it down. P. Autocomplete. VS code with the autocomplete. It has helped me to complete it, but let me cut it. So let me look for the end. I'll paste it there. So like this, everything here is a paragraph. Let me go back and get another. This paragraph one. This is just paragraph one. Let's go back. Let me pick this one. Copy. Good. So let me go back to my VS code. Let me write another paragraph. Then paste it in between. Good. Can you see now? This the second paragraph, and you can see the space. So the HTML, now we know that, oh, this is the heading, and this is one paragraph. This is another different paragraph. You can see how the same way you write your letter and you write in English, how you write your paragraph. You can see the space telling you that, oh, once you've done reading this, this is the next paragraph, and we can continue writing paragraphs like this. We can just continue writing paragraphs like this. So I think this first one is kind of long. So the thing went on and on, and I don't like the way it is. Let me try and drag this a little. So it went straight down. So I wanted it to be broken so that we can actually see the break in them. It's very, very long. So no matter how long it is, but just because I have already placed the opening tag for the paragraph here and the closing tag, I've placed it here, so it already knows that, oh, this is a paragraph, so it's going to address everything as one single paragraph. So you can see it's just a gradual process. It's not that difficult. So we also, these are actually the closing tag. That means that it requires you cannot just you can't okay, let me clear this screen. I think the write-up is kind of much. Let's look for something simple. H1 introduction to HTML. Then we wanted to create our first paragraph. We said P. I'll read enter, and the P, we went to our browser to just get some few lines of text, just a random text. I think this is enough for this paragraph. This is enough. I don't want something much. So I placed it here. Good. This in between the lines, so you can see how it is here. Let me drag it back. So this is how I wrote it. Sorry, it's not just generate text form. It's not as if the English may even make sense to some extent. So this is the first paragraph. I'm fine by it. Then I went next. I did another one, P. Then I copy another text. You can see this is the end. P again. Copy another. Press enter. Copy another text. That's the P. So as you can see, the heading tag, and the P tag, they are not a self-closing tag. That means that they require you to put your content in between. Yeah. So that's what a non-self-closing tag is. All of them are all HTML tags. So there's another element called break. break is a self-closing tag. You can see it require it does not require you writing your code in between. This is just how you write your break. And we know we use break. For example, when you're writing a poem or hymn, you know that everything is like when you're writing a hymn, everything you cannot you break it in order for you to know how you are going to pronounce the hymn or pronounce the theme. Let's go to our website. Let's let's use an example of poem. Let's look for a poem. Okay, now good. I'm trying to open it up so you can see. Let's look at this poem. I was not happy with the rain until my eyes caught five wet flower. A mysterious. Okay, good. This is a good example of a poem. So as you can see, it's actually just one paragraph, right? But you are actually breaking it so that when you reach here, you stop, you go back to this. So you can actually put this also into coding. So how are you going to do it? For example, let's make use of what we've done. Let's break this line. Let's break from here the reader. So we'll just press R B R enter. You can see it has broken it. So there are some keywords. There are some keywords that you cannot just use in your. They are not like English words that you can just put in your code like this. Break. If you just use break out, it break the line for you. So let's break again here. BR. You can see I've already broken one again. Let's go to the next one. Reader. Break. I don't need to even put. I don't need this one. Okay, it was close to the word, so it's taking it as if that it was one particular word. So good. So it's not meant to be like this. I'm meant to separate it out so that we know. Good. So break. Good. You can see it has broken it again. Self closing tag. Actually, I meant to put the forward slash. This is the forward slash, but in the latest version of HTML, which is HTML5, you can do without you can omit this forward slash, so it will still work. So that's the break, and you can see it's everything is still inside a paragraph. We are still inside the paragraph tag. It's just that we are breaking now, like for aim or for poem. Maybe your website you're writing a aim in your website, so you can use this break tag to to just separate the paragraphs. So the next element we'll be looking at is the horizontal rule, which is HR. Horizontal rule. It's just like as the name horizontal rule. So to just draw a line in between. So let's let me do the horizontal rule here. HR, then you press your enter. VS Code has its own autocomplete. Actually, I meant to type it like this, then HR, then you close it. That's me typing it out, but VS Code has autocomplete. So the moment it knows that this is what you're going, you just press enter to bring it out. So you can see that this is your horizontal rule, and it's very very okay. So all these ones are horizontal rule and break are example of self-closing tag. Self-closing tag. So and you can also call them the void element. They are also called the void element. The void element. So let me write it down here. H. Let me use heading 2. Then the break and horizontal rule are called void void this spell of void elements, or you can also call them self closing HTML element tag, or you can just call them HTML tag. They don't need to put in. So you can see I just wrote it in H2. You can see that this one is the main heading. Why this is the sub heading? H2 is the sub heading. So So in this lecture, we talked about the main heading, which is the H1, the subheading H2, and we said the heading has 1 to 6. We also talked about the void elements, which are an example of the one we did with the horizontal rule and the break and the horizontal rule. So those ones are the ones we call the self-closing tag because they don't require any content. They don't require any content. And we said this is the we made mention that this the HTML element. So this is the content. This is the HTML tag. Sorry, HTML tag. Why this one is the introduction? This is the content of the tag. All together, all of them are the HTML elements. HTML elements. So we spoke about the paragraph. This is just a paragraph. We spoke about the break. We spoke about the the horizontal rule. So that's what we. Okay, let's also talk about the list item. Okay, this one will just be the last for the for the list. So this one will be for this video because it's getting quite long. So I just want to break it down so that you won't be too bored. So let's just write this final one. Then we have the how will we put it now? We have the list elements. We have the order list and the unordered list. So the unordered list, we use the tag UL. It stands for the unordered list. UL. So for example, list of things you want to buy in the market. So let me put this heading as let me do another heading. H3 list of items. So then would this is the unordered list. That means that you just be giving us the button on order list. So the content list item now. We press LI. Stand for list item. So the first thing we want is let me say we want milk. Then again LI. What next do we want? We want Milo. Again we do LI and the computer will do the autocomplete. We want sugar. So that's the example of an order list. Example of an order list. Example of an unordered list item. So that's it. That should be all for this video. In the next video, we'll be talking about the order list item and other HTML tag. So thank you for staying tuned to me.